Hi, I'm Julie Hassan. Welcome to Everyday Dish. My husband and I like to go out for coffee in the morning, like a lot of people. And one of the things we really like with our espresso is a nice big piece of coffee cake. But it's almost impossible to find a piece of vegan coffee cake. So I decided to come home and play with my tried and true recipe back from my bakery days and veganize my coffee cake. So not only did I make the recipe vegan, but I actually made it better. And it's moist and it's got a nice crumble crunchy topping on the top. It's excellent, and I'm going to share that recipe with you. Now for the coffee cake, I like to start with making the crumble topping first, and then it's all ready to go. So I have some flour in a bowl, and I'm going to add some brown sugar and a little cinnamon. We're going to mix that together real quick. And then we're going to pour in some melted Earth Balance margarine. Now if you can't get Earth Balance, just get a really nice margarine that's unhydrogenated. And then it's much healthier. Okay, and then what you do is you mix that together in the bowl, like so. And you can use your hands for this. This is a great time to get the kids involved if you want to. Okay, and at this point I'm just going to finish it up with my hands. Sometimes it takes too long with a spoon. Okay, and you can squeeze it together like that. Perfect. You just really want it mixed. So this is what it looks like. Okay, now we're going to set that aside. Then what we're going to do is we're going to mix our dry ingredients together. So I have in the bowl flour, and I like to use unbleached flour, a little bit of salt, some baking soda, baking powder, and some more cinnamon, because you can never have enough cinnamon. Okay, so set those aside, and then we're just going to lightly mix those together. And then that's ready to go once we put our wet ingredients in the mixer. Okay, so we have that, so we'll set this aside. Then what we're going to do is we're going to make buttermilk out of soy milk. This is really easy to do. I have my soy milk, and it can be plain or vanilla, and I'm going to add in a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. And what that does is it'll kind of curdle the the soy milk and make buttermilk. I'm going to set that aside. Then, in the mixer, we're going to add some canola oil. You want a nice light tasting oil. And I have brown sugar. And I have some white sugar. And we're going to beat that together for a minute. We're going to slowly add in our vanilla. Okay, so once it's mixed, we're going to do something else. Now if I can just, my bowl of water. Here we go. What I have here is water and some egg replacer. Now egg replacer is a powder. It looks like this. I like the Bob's Red Mill brand, but you use it instead of eggs, and it works so well. I've never found a recipe that it hasn't worked well in, except for maybe meringue. But so what you do is you add it to your water like that, and you whisk it together. There might be a few lumps in it, and that's okay, but you want to whisk it really well, or as well as you can. And then what you do, when you would normally add the eggs, you're going to add the egg replacer. So I'm just going to scrape the bottom of the bowl so it's all mixed together. And actually, let me put in the egg replacer. Now once I add the egg replacer, I like to beat it really well for a moment with the mixer. Okay, let's see. Perfect. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of applesauce. This is an unsweetened applesauce, but it does have a little bit of cinnamon in it. So it's a little, I thought it would just add a little bit of a good flavor to it. But you can add plain unsweetened, it would be just fine. Okay, so we're going to beat this together now. Now what we want to do is add our dry ingredients. So our flour mixture to to the wet. See how easy this is? This is so simple, and it is the best coffee cake. I can't get enough of it. Okay. Now we're gonna slowly beat it together. We're gonna stop it before it's all mixed, and we're gonna start adding our buttermilk. Done. Okay, now I have a 9 by 13 pan, and I like to use a glass pan for this. And you could use metal, but the glass pan works really well. Okay. Then what we do is we pour our batter in, like that. At this point too, you could also stir in some raisins if you really like raisins in your coffee cake, or chocolate chips you could sprinkle on the very top. Okay, here we have that. Okay, now we have our crumble, and this is what really makes the cake. This part is so important, and we're just gonna squeeze it over the top evenly so we have a nice even layer. You don't have to press it in. This is so much fun. I feel like a kid. Okay, and then the very top, I just sprinkle on top like that. And now it's ready to put into a preheated 350-degree oven for about 50 minutes, or until it's golden brown and a tester inserted in the center comes out clean. So I'm gonna bake it. Well, I baked the cake until a tester came out clean. It was about 55 minutes or so. And I barely got the cake cooled before the family started digging into it. So there's not a whole lot left to show you, except for I was able to save myself a piece. I'm so excited. Look at that. It's got that nice crunchy crumble topping, and the cake part is so moist. It is amazing. You have to try this cake. So for this recipe and more wonderful recipes, you can go to our website, which is everydaydish.tv. And I really highly recommend that you try this coffee cake. Thanks so much for joining me. See you next time.